So 2 weeks ago, if you've been keeping up with the happenings, I went and participated in some recordings. Those recordings were primarily for the drum tracks. Today, we get started tracking guitar. In about 2 hours, a tremendous amount of gear is going to show up here, and it will remain here for 6 to 8 weeks, which is a huge cramp in my style, to be honest. I hate having all this clutter and stuff, and just it looks like crap. Everything's everywhere, cables running everywhere, and unfortunately it's a necessary evil. That said, I'm going to do my best to be ultra prepared and know most of what I'm going to play on these tracks, so that I'm not spending too much time improvising and stuff. I really want this to go really smooth. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get all my stuff ready, get my amps out and my guitars ready so that I can pull really quickly and know what I want to use, get my pedal board set up and all that. So more on that in a few when the load in happens and all the gear gets set up and we get ready to record. I'll obviously start making some videos. So listen, there's a lot of things that people think are important when it comes to playing guitar. But I can tell you with a perfectly straight face that the most important thing that you could possibly buy if you want to reach epic legendary status is a fuzz pedal. Alright? It is in fact the most important thing that you can have on your board. It is the most expressive tool in your box. If you have a good fuzz pedal, it can go from dirty city to clean to the teeth with just a twist of the volume knob. And if you have a really good fuzz pedal, or possibly a vintage fuzz pedal, with just the twist of a knob, the highs will come to life and you'll get this hi-fi sparkly sound that only the finest of transistors can provide. That said, a fuzz can easily get lost in the mix. With just a second guitar player or a super loud band, it can compress your sound into nothingness. And it must be treated with the utmost respect. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to demonstrate my favorite fuzz pedal for you today, which it's on the channel. You can go back and look at some other stuff with it, but for today's purposes, I will be demonstrating a slightly older vintage Crest Audio era fuzz face pedal. This is when Dave Fox from Fox Rocks fame was still in charge of making the fuzz face, and it uses a BC109C transistor. It's a silicone fuzz, and it's aggressive, but yet not so aggressive. And the cleanup on this thing is superb. So let's do that now. Just want to share a little product that I found out in the world that's come in very handy to me, especially. If you've been watching the episodes, we're going to go back in time to episode number 5. And it was the recording episode where I went to the studio and we did some tracks and all that. The last scene where I'm giving kind of the wrap-up speech and talking about the deluxe being blown up, etc., I've got all these little black specks all over me, and what that was is it was from I wasn't dirty or anything. It was from my headphone pads. They've from the years of like sweat and just pulling them on and off and rubbing them up against my head and stuff. This faux leather has gotten all flaky and just, you know, it just gets all these little black specks all over you. So I got on the internet and I found a company. This is not any kind of a paid thing. Just happens to be a product that I found. I found them on Amazon, and I don't know what I paid, like $20 or something, maybe a little more than that. I don't know, but this company Brainwaves, and they have new headphone pads, and here you can see there's some brown ones, dark blue and red, and you buy these and then you can make your headphones as good as new, and that's what I did. So my old Audio-Technica headphones have these brand new pads on them, and they are as good as new and ready for another 10 years of awesomeness. I love those. Those are just they're not really expensive. They're just the ones I like. So I'm really glad that they're back and not getting all kinds of stuff all over me. But I just thought I would share that. Really happy with that product. So Brainwaves, thanks. Until next time. Peace.